Alex graduated from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, with a bachelor's in biology and environmental science. She then graduated from the University of South Florida with a teaching certificate in 1996. Alexandria Stokman is the program supervisor for Missoula in Motion, a program of the Transportation Division of the Missoula County Office of Planning and Grants in Missoula, Montana. Ms. Stokman oversees the Transportation Demand Management, or TDM, program for the county. She leads the program's TDM planning, implementation, and public outreach campaigns. Prior to her tenure with the Missoula in Motion, Ms. Stokman was a director for the St. Paul Transportation Management Organization in St. Paul, Minnesota. She also spent 4 years as an environmental scientist in Florida and Minnesota, focusing on wetland preservation and restoration. Ms. Stokman is a board member of the Rocky Mountain chapter of the Association for Commuter Transportation, RMACT. We are very excited to have Alex with us here today, and without further ado, I will hand it over to her. Alex, are you there?
Yes, Caroline, thank you. So today's presentation is about healthy transportation, and I'll highlight strategies and results from our successful transportation demand management program and share with you our creative and effective approaches to these programs and implementation. The health connection here and how it is healthy transportation is that we look at behavioral modification, promoting physical activity through commuting, and reducing work site-related stress. So just a little background on Missoula. Transportation is directly linked with a variety of issues confronting the Missoula area, including commuting costs, land use development, health and environmental concerns. There are multiple opportunities to impact our travel behavior and modal usage emerging as demands on our existing transportation system increase, as evidenced by population growth, new development, and increasing vehicle miles traveled. So Missoula, as you see here, is a population between 100,000 and 80,000. Most people in Montana are familiar with Missoula, but just to highlight some of our major employers and who we work with, our 2 major hospitals, the U.S. Forest Service headquarters are here, as well as the university, municipal government as the county seat, and then we are home to the most nonprofits per capita in the United States. The transportation options we have available to us are a series of trail and on-street networks for biking and walking, transit, and van pool, in addition to carpool options. So transportation demand management is focusing on the movement of people and goods rather than just cars, and it's focusing on accessing or accessibility. So we look at that. The most efficient system that we've found is a synergy of all our modes, so working with biking, public transit, pedestrian, and cars, and putting them all together in the most efficient system. Our programs do revolve around educating folks about their transportation options and finding the best fit for their lives and their workplaces. Since 1997, Missoula in Motion has helped community businesses, institutions, neighborhoods, and individuals address transportation concerns, including providing them with resources and information. As the Missoula region continues to grow and vehicle miles traveled continues to increase, the area is in more need of incentive programs and encouragement than ever before. So why do we focus on transportation and healthy transportation? Today we'll discuss programs that can be applied to support healthy transportation programs. The topics include busing, biking, walking, telework, and variable work schedules, and then also the importance of a formalized program to help ensure that behavioral change and cultural change, improving the health of our citizens. So let me first touch on why these programs are important. So according to the Department of Labor and Bureau of Labor Statistics, car ownership costs are the second largest household expense in the U.S. In fact, the average household spends almost as much on their cars as they do on food and health care combined for their entire family. So it's a very costly item to have a car, own it, and operate it, getting back and forth to work. Since all households have only a limited amount of income, the amount of household spends on its car is lost money that they could have spent on other expenditures like saving for retirement, education, or the purchase of a home. There are definitely impacts on businesses. 8 out of 10 employers consider the commute an extension of their workday. A stressful commute seriously impacts an employee's sense of job satisfaction and can negatively affect employee retention. The transportation network is an organization's lifeline to labor markets. An efficient network plays a role in an employer's ability to attract good employees and access new labor markets. Employees arriving late to work or stressed from the long commute negatively impact the overall productivity and quality of the work environment. For the business, parking facilities are expensive to construct and maintain, and parking shortages affect an organization's ability to support continued expansion. So, and certainly there are impacts on the community as well. The quality of the commute plays a significant role in the overall perception of the quality of life in a community. Increased vehicle travel and worsening traffic conditions are the major factors in deteriorating air quality and have significant health implications. Communities all over the country are struggling to keep pace with the enormous costs of transportation infrastructure. Transportation projects take a long time to plan and execute, and construction often creates additional impacts on congestion and community character. Traffic congestion and air pollution can negatively impact a community's ability to attract new jobs and maintain an overall economic health. Traffic congestion and ozone pollution are not only impacting commuters, they are impacting our businesses and community. And as an employer or organization, I'm sure you're concerned about your employees' quality of life and work experience as well as your role as a community leader. Missoula in Motion's programs and services influence travel behavior. We increase sustainable transportation usage and impact the overall quality of life in Missoula, and hope that you can take some of these tidbits away to impact your community. We spend most of our time on the transportation option modes, which are the first 5: busing, biking, carpooling, vanpooling, telework, and variable schedules. And a smaller amount of time on car sharing and parking, and then the least amount of time is on the last, community support and competitions. But let me assert that these may be the most important motivators for behavioral change that we're all striving for. So I'll spend a little bit of time on each of these, and if you'd like more detailed information on any of these programs, please let me know after the webinar. My contact information will be posted. The bus, it's a great option. When employees consider alternatives to driving alone, the first option they often think of is the bus. The bus can be a great option if service is available within 3 blocks of your work site and is near the employee's home. Employees have easy access to a park and ride lot where they can park their car or meet the bus and meet their carpools and vanpools. Bus schedules match work schedules. That's huge for us in Missoula as we have a lot of shift work with the hospitals and also the airport. There's safe access between transit stops and work sites, so that's very important to riders. And if that isn't the case for your location, start talking and having conversations with your transit agency and maybe to work to adjust the schedules and stops to better accommodate your employees. Supporting busing in areas is very important. Although some employees need no assistance with using public transportation, others may need a little bit more encouragement. And you can help by doing some of these suggestions, providing bus information, providing schedules, learn what bus routes are close to your site, and share that information with employees. Keep a supply of current information and routes and timetables on site, and become proficient with planning transit trips and offer to assist others. Promote bus riding, and this is one of the things that we focus on at Missoula in Motion. We hold special promotions that encourage bus riding. For example, we give away prizes if employees ride the bus at least once during our commuter challenge or other promotions. Offer subsidies. There are tax incentives for employers, but as well you can offer organizational transit subsidies that let employees know about this benefit. And if subsidies aren't available, try to sell the benefit as a subsidy program to your management or your parent organization. Also work with your transit agency. They want to increase their ridership as much as you do. So more employees would ride the bus if the stops were closer to your work and arrival and departure times were more convenient. Transit officials want to see service improvements, and they want to hear from you. Another great way is to take your employees or your colleagues on a ride. If you're familiar with it, then they can be too. And you can offer to teach interested employees how to use the bus, ease their first-time jitters by taking them on a ride. And sometimes transit agencies will provide free tickets for your training excursion. And of course, ride the bus yourself. When you use the bus, you gain credibility and become an advocate for transit. So in doing a small search of transit providers, these are a smattering of transit providers across the state of Montana. There are 34 cities in Montana that have local public transportation. This service is open to the general public, and there are complementary vehicles that transport persons with disabilities. The site is from the Montana Department of Transportation, and it lists all the communities. There are some urban systems in Billings, Great Falls, and Missoula, and then rural systems in the other communities. So biking and walking to work are more than just about staying fit and healthy. When you leave your car at home, you're helping everyone by reducing traffic congestion, wear and tear on the roads, and the need for more roads and parking. You're also helping to keep the air clean and the neighborhoods quiet while saving petroleum. Quite simply, biking and walking are an inexpensive and efficient form of transportation for short trips around town and to work. Bicycling is an option for employees who live within 5 miles of their work site. If employees live further than 5 miles, some portion of their bicycle trip can be combined with transit. For example, the employee rides his or her bike from home to the transit stop, then takes the bus, or takes the bus part of the way from home, then uses the bike for the remainder of the trip. All our buses are equipped with bicycle racks, and you can encourage your transit agency to do the same. Bicyclists require secure parking or a storage area, and showers and lockers are highly desirable, but not imperative. In some cases, bike lockers can be available at transit park and ride lots, or allowing secure storage before hopping on the bus, which makes combining those trips much easier. Walking is an option for employees who live within 1 mile or 2 of their work site. For these employees, it's important that safe and direct pedestrian access to things such as sidewalks and other amenities like lighting and designated crosswalks need to be available. It's also useful if showers and lockers are available for these non-polluting commuters. So some things you can do in your area is assess the surrounding area, and is it safe and convenient to walk or bike? And if not, see if you can get those improvements created. Are there sidewalks, crosswalks, and pedestrian overpasses? Is there sufficient lighting? And what can you do to help make those improvements? Knowing the safe pedestrian and bicycle routes in your area, you can consult avid bicyclists or city and county representatives for help. Keep bicycle route maps on hand and assist employees in bicycle trip planning. Another way is to set up a mentoring system for Biking and walking. You can recruit current bicyclists and walkers to buddy up or mentor employees interested in using these commute options. Some things we do is to create programs that encourage bicycling and walking. Supporting biking and walking can be through events, can be through public activity or public engagements like our active transportation plan. It could be as simple as creating maps, pocket-sized maps, or interactive web maps that list your trails and network. At the workplace, you can also create a biking and walking subsidy. You can use flex time to accommodate biking and walking schedules. Of course, I've mentioned showers and clothing lockers, secure bike parking, fleet vehicles, making fleet vehicles available, excuse me, so that people who have bike and walk to work can have a vehicle available to them for other trips. On-site amenities, so they don't need to make other trips away from the work site, such as food service, cash machines, or postal service. Parking passes for the drive-alone days, and if there's a charge for parking. And then parking cash out, which means you're allowing them to use what money would be available for parking for their bike and walk trips. And then apply for recognition. Missoula and Billings are both bicycle-friendly communities through the League of American Bicyclists. And the more the recognition your communities get through other organizations, I think the more apt city and municipal governments are to continue to expand that network and system. Walking, there's a few resources out there for walking. WalkScore is one of those. It calculates the walkability of an address and locates amenities in the vicinity. But also messaging, if you just remind people to stop and smell the roses once in a while, is also nice. Walking is a zero-cost, pollution-free with multiple benefits, including health and social benefits. Carpooling is one of the most universally attractive, sustainable commutes to driving alone. Carpooling is a motor vehicle occupied by 2 to 6 people traveling together for their commute trip that results in the reduction of a minimum of 1 motor vehicle trip. A carpool can be full or part-time with 1 or more person. And it's a smart way for employees to save on expenses. And for employers, a carpool program is easy to implement and available to virtually all employees. Van pools are typically a group of 5 to 15 people who share their commute to and from work. The group can enjoy low fares because of the combined savings, and typically are in a large 15-passenger van or vehicle. So there's ways for you to get involved in the process of carpooling and van pooling. You can offer assistance and help potential poolers identify partners through ride matching. They're internally in your organization or with nearby businesses. Identify potential poolers and identify prospective carpoolers and contact them to determine their interest. Engage them in setting up a carpool and compatibility with others. And offer to make those personal introductions. You can go back to kind of the retro way of doing things and post carpool wanted opportunities on bulletin boards, newspaper or newsletter, classifieds, and email messages. Arrange ride-sharing formation meetings. We call them pool parties, and an opportunity for interested poolers to meet each other and discuss the opportunity or the possibility of sharing the ride to work. And then encourage your staff, employees, colleagues to give it a try. Try it on a trial basis and give it a 4-week period to give poolers a chance to work out the kinks and provide them with a graceful way out if needed. And then follow up and keep tabs on your carpoolers and offer them help if they run into difficulty. Another way to support carpooling and also transit is to create and promote park and ride locations. These are areas designated for all-day parking with permission of property and management owners, At these locations, carpools and vanpool riders can meet and leave multiple vehicles behind while sharing the ride to work. Park and ride locations are also used to connect with transit service. This is a sampling of different locations that offer park and ride options in our area, and you can see they vary from grocery stores to shopping centers and banks, even a truck stop, casino, an art gallery, or a church. They offer large parking lot areas that won't be used during the work week, so those make it's a great reuse or multiple use of that parking area. Teleworking is also a great option for reducing commute trips. The goal is to eliminate commute trips to the work site. Teleworking is when an employee uses telecommunications or computer technology and gives themselves the freedom to work anytime from any location. So that could mean checking your email from a client's office or filling out paperwork at a hotel in Seattle or writing a report at midnight in the local coffee shop. Again, the goal is to eliminate a commute trip to the work site. Some commute trip reduction laws define telework as the use of telephones, computers, or other technology to permit an employee to work from home, eliminating a commute trip, or from a workplace closer to home, which is reducing the distance traveled in a commute trip by at least half. The truth is that many businesses benefit when the right employees telework. They reduce their overhead costs and their need for infrastructure like parking. But they also get the carbon benefit, as you see mentioned here. But it's not for everyone or every employee. There are two non-traditional work schedules that we help promote, compressed work weeks and flex time, which can be attractive benefits that meet the changing needs of workers while enhancing recruitment and retention efforts. Compressed work weeks enable workers to perform full-time jobs in fewer than 5 days, and that would be your typical 4 10-hour days, or there are also schedules over 2 weeks that combined 40 hours or 80 hours and look at 80 hours over 2 weeks. So flex time schedules allow employees to adjust their arrival and departure times within specified ranges. But before implementing those variable schedules, such as compressed work weeks and flex time, consider the benefits you might achieve for both your unit or your organization. Some of the proven benefits for organizations are enhanced retention and recruitment, improved scheduling for peak workloads, reduced tardiness and absenteeism, boosting employee morale, improving employee performance, and of course reducing that carbon footprint. Parking management is one thing that people most often cringe at, but it is an effective strategy. And there are 3 parking management strategies that are commonly used to help reduce the number of solo commuters to a work site. They include location and convenience of parking, supply of parking, and price of parking. Parking management strategies are helpful when an employer's parking demand exceeds their supply. It can also be an effective motivator for employees to utilize sustainable transportation options. A few parking management ideas to consider are charging employees for parking, which nobody's fond of, but it does work. Parking cash out, rewarding employees who don't use their parking, or implementing reserved carpool only or vanpool only parking spaces. Reserved parking is easy as marking the pavement or installing signage. Dedicating the best parking for commuters and high occupancy vehicle commuters is a great way to reward employees and showcase your company's support and save parking for your customers. So Missoula in Motion uses these modes and has developed programs and services that use sustainable transportation options to influence the travel behavior and positively impact the quality of life throughout the greater Missoula area. We are focused on engaging the community to actively think and act on sustainable transportation. 2 of our programs to do that are Momentum, which provides an opportunity for community partners to meet regularly to discuss emerging transportation challenges, identify new partnerships and opportunities, and offer ongoing innovative programs and services. We continue to develop and increase the involvement of our employers in the Momentum program with ongoing incentives through our corporate website and Bus Pass program. Our Way to Go Club attracts and engages and rewards individuals for sustainable commuting. We continue sharing information through our social network and create engaging events throughout the year, like Bike to the Ballpark, our bike club promotions, Bikes on Buses, and our bus bench scavenger hunt. I'll go through these programs in a little more detail here. So the Momentum program is created for businesses of all sizes. This program is unlike any other employee benefit you can offer. By promoting a wide variety of sustainable commute options, your business reduces traffic congestion, improves air quality, prevents the need for costly road infrastructure, and has made Missoula a better place to live and work. Through the Momentum program, we help determine what kinds of solutions and structure will best suit businesses and employers' needs. We offer the following services complementary to our employer businesses. The surveys and evaluations utilize our transportation experts to conduct thorough evaluation of employees' commuting habits and ensure your programs address their needs. We arrange and work with our transit agency to purchase annual bus passes through our Easy Pass program. We do individualized commute planning through a series of short sessions with your employees. Our experts can determine and customize commute plans. We do progress reporting with access to the Momentum website or the corporate site. Your business or a business can manage their internal incentives programs, view trips and miles commuted, and see the amount of carbon dioxide your employees have kept out of the atmosphere. And I'll show you a snippet of that in a minute. We do awards and recognition. Missoula in Motion widely acknowledges contributions to our program through media and public education campaigns. Momentum partners are also eligible for our Transportation Best Practices Award. Programs and promotions and marketing. We provide all the materials needed to ensure our work sites know about the commute programs available. We offer presentations at staff meetings and break room displays, as well as email templates and best practice resources to help boost participation. So this is a snapshot of the corporate website and from one of our Best Practices Award winners. And this is some of their statistics of biking and walking, as well as their carbon impacts. So as I mentioned, the Transportation Best Practices Award, we definitely support and recognize our employers that participate. And the Best Practices Award aims at telling the stories and showcasing Missoula businesses and organizations that have chosen to turn their daily grind of getting around town into something more positive for their customers and employees. These organizations have implemented innovative and sustainable programs and policies that save money, reduce emissions, ease traffic congestion, alleviate parking pressure, and improve the health of their employees and customers. This award showcases how their programs help improve transportation within our community by supporting and encouraging the use of sustainable transportation. So these are last year's winners. We are currently soliciting nominations for the 2010 awards, and we will be hosting an award luncheon on February 3rd, which you are all more than welcome to join us for here in Missoula. The Way to Go Club is our individual commuter club for those who choose sustainable transportation. It is a free membership, and what we ask is that members commit to sustainable transportation at least once a week. We do offer incentives to encourage our members to continue on their sustainable track. And we do monthly raffle prizes of $100 from local businesses, donated from local businesses. We offer milestone prizes, which are guaranteed prizes for our members at 75 days logged, 150 days logged, and new this past year was 200 days logged. They earned a carbon credit or a carbon offset. We do provide a guaranteed ride home, which is 4 times a year. We provide taxi rides home to people in emergency situations at no cost to them, and that's within 50 miles of Missoula. We do have commuters coming in from that distance, so we provide that to them. Our Locomotion newsletter, which gives updates on sustainable transportation options and happenings in Missoula, and then individual tracking and statistics, and you'll see a snapshot of that. But looking at our members, and even though we have a robust transit system here in Missoula, most of our members are biking. So over 50% of our members are biking. We have a large, or maybe similar to the busing and carpooling, but also walking in and around our downtown and to our work sites. This is a snapshot of our commute log and or travel diary. So our members log in their trips, and that's how they're eligible for our rewards. We keep that information and report that back to our grant funding sources, and we track the carbon offsets or the carbon emissions reduction, and that's how we keep track of our program. You can see the grand totals on the side, and that's since inception of our program over 10 years ago. This is an individual commute report card with carbon footprint over on the right-hand side of your screen. So it looks at the bottom, there's all time, so that's since this person became a member, how many trips they've done using various modes, as well as this past year. Here's a snapshot of our newsletter. We do this mostly through PDF and email distribution, and have a large readership on this, as well as provide a few print copies for those who don't have computer access. We have developed a multimedia campaign which spans billboards, radio spots, television ads, and posters. This campaign encourages not only our members to continue, but has inspired a new segment to think about sustainable transportation as their norm for their commute, not an alternative. Our communications include annually about 68 regular communications, 52 weekly, 12 monthly, and 4 quarterly publications. We do about 8 special correspondence, which is in regards to sponsorship, bus passes, Commuter Challenge, or our Best Practices Award. And then we've earned somewhere between 20 and 30 media placements within the community, whether that's TV, radio, or print media. So our marketing impressions are quite large. We do the billboards, and that earns us about 6 million impressions. The newspaper is 225,000 impressions. TV is 1.6 million, and radio is about 1 million. That keeps our messages at the top of mind for our commuters and our community. And these posters and or images you see are samples of what we've used not only in posters but billboards and TV ads. On our website you can view some of our TV ads as well. We do support a competitive spirit here in Missoula with not only internal competitions, so through our corporate website and the Momentum program, our employers have the opportunity to run internal competitions, offer prizes, and do raffles to their members. But we also run competitions like our Commuter Challenge, which corresponds to the community-run Bike Walk Bus Week event. So the Commuter Challenge pits businesses against businesses, and we do a crowning ceremony at the end of the challenge to crown the most friendly business that has logged the most sustainable transportation for their employees. And then there are external competitions that you can promote and encourage as well. The Cliff 2-Mile Challenge has ended, but it's an example of something that's out there sponsored and promoted by external companies. And there typically are several going on at the same time that anyone can participate in. So results from our program, of course I mentioned the Commuter Challenge. We run that in the end of April, beginning of May, and this past year we had 75 organizations in Missoula participate with over 800 individuals. And perfect participation, that's 560, and that means in perfect participation is an employee that has every one of their commutes is via sustainable transportation. So over half of the individuals that participate get perfect participation, and we have a special award for them. And then sustainable trips saved, that means that we've reduced that many trips off our roadways. And results from our programs, of course, we do a lot of outreach and education. We did 66 employer presentations to engage organizations and individuals, as well as hosting 15 different events. We do monthly events that engage our Momentum partners, mostly breakfasts that inform them of transportation opportunities that they have available. We also have the Way to Go Club, and we're nearing 3,500 members. With in 2009, we recruited over 575 new members. So when I talked about the commuter logs, how we report that is in millions of pounds of carbon dioxide emissions eliminated from our area, and removing those vehicle miles traveled from our municipal infrastructure. Our events also encourage and support our message and get people to try sustainable transportation in new and fun ways. Again, the Transportation Best Practices Award Luncheon, you are all invited to on February 3rd here in Missoula. And then 2 events that are annual events are Sunday Streets Missoula, which the next one's planned for June 5th, is an opening of the street to biking and walking celebration, and that's the top picture on the right of this past year's. This was in September, and we had over 3,500 participants over the course of the day. So we're hoping for another stellar day on June 5th. This is along Higgins Avenue, and it's modeled after the Bogota-Columbia-Ciclovia event. So please come and join us for this as well. It's an open event. And then Pedal Festival is encouraging pedestrians as well as bicycle pedaling. And it's a great celebration in Karis Park of biking and walking. So kind of wrapping up here, we're looking at successful programs and how you can be involved in those and what you can do. In order for any of our programs or your programs to be successful, the right pieces do need to be in place. And they include the right coordinator with dedication and enthusiasm, someone who's motivated and interested and has access to either employees or management and has some time to spend on the program. The success of your program will depend on your dedication and enthusiasm. The right program is implementing the elements that meet your needs and your employees' needs. Also needing management support. Of course, nothing can happen without that. Management can be your link to the resources you need to be successful, whether it's time, money, or other company resources. And they can also serve as role models. We made a lot of progress here in Missoula with our having our political leaders be our role models and having them be more participating in sustainable transportation. And then marketing. One of the options was the bicycle-friendly communities, but tell people about your great program. Tell people what you're doing and apply for those awards. The more you get the word out about how great things are or how things are moving along, the better that snowball will keep rolling. And last is supporting community projects. They may not be your own, but supporting them and collaborating with city and county to identify improvements in projects is a great way to improve the infrastructure or the systems you may have in place. Here are just a smattering of community projects that have happened in Missoula that support sustainable transportation. And it's through the Missoula Redevelopment Agency, the Downtown Business Association, Business Improvement District, the Parking Commission, among other businesses and organizations. We work together to create a long-range master plan for the downtown and giving a vision to land use, housing market, tourism, parking supply, and transportation improvements. Sometimes your partners aren't always who you think of first. And planning documents have a lot to do with what programs we have available to promote and implement. A complete streets resolution can be an important piece, and our City Council adopted a resolution to provide complete streets in August of 2009. The resolution directs staff to develop implementation strategies to increase the usability of all streets for all modes of transportation in Missoula. And a lot of times this Complete Streets resolution looks at providing access and accessibility for all users, and that's a lot of folks talk about from 8 to 80. You want people to be able to move around your city and your place. The Active Transportation Plan is a planning document, part of our transportation division, and it focuses on growth policy goals, objectives, connectivity, health and livability issues, safety, interagency coordination, education, and outreach. We've also had some projects brought to our area through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, and there are infrastructure projects that help with not only commuting, but congestion issues, roundabouts, slowing traffic down, and making things more commuter friendly, like the new buses from our transit agency and bike lanes on our main downtown street. Excuse me. So modifying behavior isn't easy, and we are, most of us, creatures of habit. We get in our own ways. Changing the way someone behaves requires successfully introducing new ideas, altering old attitudes, and creating the desire to try something different. Informing your employees or colleagues about their commuting choices is the first step in the process to reducing solo commuting. It's also important to tell your employees why sharing the ride is important for our environment and what's in it for them. But if employees haven't already done so, most aren't going to suddenly hop on the bus, form a carpool, or walk to work. They need to be motivated. Sometimes this means overcoming their barriers. At other times it means providing incentives or establishing penalties for old behavior. A successful program is a blend of strategies designed to motivate employees who currently drive alone to try a new way to commute and to encourage current participants to stick with it. So that concludes my overview of our program, and this is how to reach me. I'm at MissoulaInMotion.com. There's my phone number, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Hi, Alex. This is Carolyn. That was great. Thank you again for presenting. Just a reminder to unmute your lines. If you have any questions, just press *6. And while we're waiting for that, I actually have a question, Alex. I was wondering what advice you would give to small or rural communities.
I think in looking, I guess with my experience from both coming from St. Paul and then being in Missoula, that is viewed as a more urban area here in Montana, there are some easy things that everyone can do. Implementing a bike system or encouraging people to bike is a very easy, doable solution anywhere you are. And the smaller your town, maybe the less traffic you have, so that biking becomes more of an option. Also carpooling. I mean, these things don't take infrastructure that you don't have. Implementing programs to encourage carpooling, sharing the ride. It's so funny when I think back to way back in high school before you get your driver's license, you're always looking for that person to share a ride with because you don't want to ride the school bus, and you're more apt to do it then. But once you get your license, then you shift gears and you have your independence. But there's a lot of benefit to carpooling, not only for the financial standpoint, but also the impact on the community. So those are some easy things to do. Start talking to employers or areas about those programs, because they don't need any additional infrastructure to get started.
Okay, thanks. Are there any other questions from anyone? All right, well, if that's it, we just want to say thank you again, Alex. We really appreciate you taking the time to present with us today and offer insight into this program and expertise. Have a great day, everyone.
Carolyn?
Yes?
Hi, it's Kathy Kostakis.
Oh, hi.
I just had one question for Alex. Hi, Alex. Thank you so much.
Hi, Kathy.
Great. I'm just wondering, because, we've been thinking or thought, or some people have had some ideas here in Bozeman in the past about starting something like this, and I know Helena's been thinking about it, but I'm thinking that, I know you guys have started this with CMAQ funding, air quality funding, and not very many communities in Montana have that kind of funding. So I'm thinking that maybe starting, like you say, really small, maybe starting with a large employer like the hospital or the university or something, might be a good way to start. And what would your suggestion be as to how to approach like a larger business in a community, whether it's a small community or a large community, to start something like this? I mean, some of the things that we might need to tell them that they might need to start something like this, how intensive it would be for somebody, one of their employees, or how would it cost anything, kind of thing. And you addressed some of that in the last question, but I'm just thinking specifically of reaching employers in the community to kind of do this on their own if we don't have money to organize it, kind of like you guys have through Missoula in Motion.
Sure. One of the employers you brought up are the hospitals. And hospitals are an interesting organization because of their shift work and the impacts they have on the environment, just in all their packaging and cleaning and sanitizing. So typically they would be an easy sell, if you would. Because a lot of them have been moving in the direction of environmentally sustainable and appealing to their carbon footprint, or their green committee is a great place to start, and finding out who those concerned employees are that are implementing that program. I know that that's where a lot of the work has been done at St. Patrick's Hospital here in Missoula, as well as community. They also have a large employee base, so that setting up carpooling is easier because they have more people to match with and are less resistant to carpooling with people that are outside their agency. Oh, it's somebody else who works here at the hospital? Yeah, I'll meet with them. I'll talk with them is more common than saying, oh yeah, come meet with this person who works 3 blocks away for a company you've never heard of. So making those internal introductions. And so typically it starts with a human resources person, or even through a health and wellness opportunity. We go to open enrollment fairs, so and getting in with that human resources person opens up that opportunity to encourage their employees to do the biking and walking as well as carpooling option at their wellness fair. And so they're getting information on whatever their benefits are. And one of their benefits can be participating in a program. Now that may give them discounts on their insurance program. I know a lot of companies use health club memberships or discounted health club memberships for a insurance break or something like that, but that can also be applied to sustainable commuting. And if those folks are reporting biking and walking, then maybe they too can be eligible for a discount on their insurance. So through the health and wellness is a great opening or door to go through, and working with human resources because they have access to all the employees. Does that answer your question, Kathy?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And of course, we are available to help in any situation. Yes, our funding does come through CMAQ, which is Congestion Mitigation Air Quality, and we have a lot of lessons learned that we're willing to share, as well as because our program has been created in the public realm and the public funding, that we are more than willing to share our marketing and promotions. So that's available. Just let us know what you need, and we also can, come and meet with you and tailor to your community's needs what you have available and what programs you can get started.
Yeah, maybe if we can get some inroads in the hospital or maybe some other larger employers, maybe we can have you come down and meet with them and sort of have you as the person that would explain a little bit more about the program. But anyway, we would love that. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Thanks, Kathy, for asking that. All right, if not, we just want to say thank you again to everybody who attended today, and if you have any further questions, feel free to contact Alex, or feel free to contact me and I'll get you in touch with her. Have a great day, everyone. And Alex, if you have any other questions for us, feel free to give me a call or email. Thanks.